is not about bankruptcy. It's about restructuring debt on our balance sheet, $2.2 billion of debt, which is carryover from private equity purchase by Riverwood Holdings of Reader's Digest 2 years ago. And what we're aiming to do is reduce that debt by 75% through a pre-arranged proposal with the majority of our lenders. And there's about 130 banks who have lent those funds, and that debt sits on our balance sheet. Where that means that our company's debt will be reduced from 2.2 billion to 550 million. So it's kind of like wiping 75% off your home mortgage, and that's a pretty attractive deal. That filing doesn't affect any of the international operations, not Asia, not Australia and New Zealand, not Europe, and not Canada or Latin America. It's solely a financial and legal event for the US company, because that's where the responsibility for the debt lies. So let me say again, the filing for Chapter 11 is not about insolvency, it's not about a lack of profitability, it's not about trading difficulties, it's purely one to restructure that debt. As a consequence of that, the Asia business is really not affected, so it's very much business as usual in all our international subsidiaries, and to a large extent in our US business as well. But we aren't planning any restructure or any flow-on effect in the Asian business or anywhere else. Though the magazine business or magazine industry has gone through some tough times. We've seen a contraction in advertising revenues, as well as a contraction in circulation of some titles. Our title and titles have done quite well. Specifically, looking at online, we see it as a fantastic opportunity, and we have some really interesting things happening. Well, I think most businesses have taken a bit of a haircut in terms of revenue. So we've seen our response rates to our direct mail promotions come back a little bit, and that's affected revenues. But that's to be expected in a recessionary environment. Well, two exciting plans that both relate to the internet. So first of all, we're rolling out a new global web platform throughout the world. That's why it's called the new global web platform, I guess. And that platform will first roll out in China around September. But in the second quarter of this financial year, we'll see it come to Asia, and that provides enormous advantages for us, particularly in terms of publishing content on the internet. It provides a much more flexible platform and will enable us to move content around and repackage content from print to digital and digital to print, and offer that content in all sorts of a variety of different ways. So that's very exciting. Second thing is we have under the Reader's Digest stable the world's largest food and recipe site called allrecipes.com, which was a business that the company bought 3 or 4 years ago, I think, for around $60 million in the US. That was, at that time, purely a US site, and we've expanded or started the international expansion 2 years ago. So I think the first country to launch was UK, second was Australia. We will be launching our Southeast Asian site in English in the second quarter, around October of this year. So that is fantastic for anybody in Asia who cooks. We already get a lot of traffic to the US site from Asia, but we'll be implementing a Southeast Asia specific site around October this year, which is very exciting. Okay. Other than that, we're looking at other possibilities. So within the region, we've seen a very strong health magazine business being created in Australia, and we're interested in evaluating the opportunity for that in Asia. We're also interested in looking at the food business in a stronger way. So whether that's print or online, Reader's Digest is the largest food publisher, certainly in the US, potentially in the world, but don't quote me on that. It might be too late because you're really over it. So we have tremendous strength in food content and food publishing, primarily out of the US. But we're wondering or evaluating, if you like, what opportunities that provides us in. We don't have any new changes planned. Some of those changes, as I mentioned in our early interview, were as a result of a recession plan and right-sizing our business to perform well under the current macroeconomic environment, and a couple of those changes were as a consequence of those folks moving on to other opportunities. So it's not all about restructure. You can't chain people to their desks, and we wish those folks well. We have already made an appointment in the finance director's role, so and that's a promotion from within. So we are promoting one of our internal folks to the finance director's role, and she's already taken up that position, which is terrific. And we are very close to making an appointment in our HR area, and I'm still looking for a replacement managing director, but enjoying my time here as acting MD very much.
Okay.